At the beginning of the story, we learn that before the end of the world, Jake was known as the greatest treasure hunter on Earth. No matter how old or long lost something was, he always found a way to discover it. His favorite thing was to find treasures under the sea. He lived by his own rules and never liked following anyone's orders. Then one day, a powerful solar flare destroyed all technology on Earth. In just one moment, everything that ran on electricity stopped working. Slowly, people in big cities started dying of hunger. Diseases spread, hospitals shut down, and even the machines that made medicine stopped working. 6 years later, we see Jake in England. He was still working as a treasure hunter. Carefully, he entered an old area and went into a hotel. He climbed up to the penthouse and found a large bookshelf. On inspecting it closely, he discovered a hidden room behind it. Jake planted small bombs and blew open the steel door. He connected his portable battery to get some light and found a safe that needed a keypad and password. Using fingerprint marks and clues, he figured out the correct password and opened it. Inside were old music records. He played the record whose name matched the password, and another hidden safe opened. Inside, it was a valuable violin. Suddenly, some thugs dressed as police officers stormed in and demanded the violin. Jake refused and warned them not to move or he'd kill them. But one attacked anyway. Jake opened fire and killed them one by one. As one thug tried to escape, Jake threw a blade into his back. The leader caught the blade and smirked, thinking he was cool. The blade exploded, killing the leader. Later, Jake went to a large mansion that had turned into a factory with many guards. He gave the violin to a warlord's assistant. The assistant said that their leader, King August, had another job for him. Jake found it strange that this warlord called himself a king. He refused the offer because it required traveling overseas to another country where no one knew what the situation was. When August heard Jake refused, he told his assistant to make him an offer he couldn't refuse. Jake returned home, where a broken boat sat outside. He had traps set up around his house to stop intruders and fed his dog. He checked his payment, some food, a few items, and another record. He played the record, ate, drank, and fell asleep. That night, he dreamed of sailing the world on a new boat. The next morning, he woke up to a noise. A soldier was trapped in one of his traps. The soldier said the king wanted to meet him. Jake ignored him and went straight to see August. In a warehouse, August and his soldiers waited. August said he had hired many people before, but none had Jake's skill for finding things. He explained that he was trying to rebuild a new system to bring back some normal life. Still, Jake wasn't interested. Then August offered him something irresistible, a brand new boat. The mission: retrieve the Mona Lisa painting, hidden in an underground vault in Paris. When Paris was attacked, the government hid its treasures there. August promised Jake all the supplies, food, and help he'd need, but the mission must be completed at all costs. Tempted by the boat, Jake agreed. He gave his dog to August's assistant, saying, "If I don't return, please take care of him." At the airport, Jake grew nervous. The plane had bullet holes in it. The young pilot told him not to worry, but Jake could tell it was unsafe. Soon, the pilot admitted that fuel was leaking and they might have to jump with parachutes. Jake panicked. He never used one before. The pilot couldn't help much. Jake fell asleep and dreamed again of sailing with a woman beside him. Suddenly, the plane shook violently. They were under attack. The pilot struggled to keep control and told Jake to jump early. Jake parachuted down but landed roughly. Around him, everything was on fire. He saw people who had rebelled against the warlord, dead as a warning. A tank rolled through the ruins, aiming at him, but a missile hit it first. Rebels appeared, threw grenades into the tank, and killed the soldiers inside. They ignored Jake and left. In the city, people lived in fear of Warlord Volkov, a brutal man who loved playing chess to sharpen his strategies. Whenever someone opposed him, he made them play chess. If they lost, he shot them. When Volkov's men reported that someone parachuted into the city, he ordered them to find that man immediately. Jake reached another part of the city where people were poor and terrified. He hid his fancy clothes, dressed like the locals, and blended in. Soldiers gathered the crowd, announcing strict curfews and shooting 2 rebels in front of everyone to maintain fear. When Jake tried to leave, the soldiers stopped him. He threw his bag in one man's face and started fighting. When another aimed to shoot him, A mysterious woman slit the soldier's throat from behind. Her name was Drea. She worked for August and was now there to help Jake. She said she'd been watching him since he landed, testing if he could handle himself. Together, they hid through the city, but a general spotted them. They ran into a church where Father Samson hid a map left by fallen rebels. Samson took them to his garage, showed them a truck, and pointed to their next destination on the map. While Drea treated Jake's wounds, the general and his men surrounded the church. Samson went out to distract them, saying he was alone, but they didn't believe him. He shot the general's hand before being killed by gunfire. Inside, Jake and Drea fought off the soldiers, stole the truck, and escaped as the church exploded behind them. They were chased by tanks and bikers but fought through with grenades and clever driving. Finally, they escaped and stopped at night to rest. Jake asked, "Why do so many want to kill us for just a painting?" Drea replied, "The painting is only a cover. We must reach the vault before Volkov does. It's filled with powerful weapons." She also mentioned she knew about his dream and gave him a small paper bow for good luck. Meanwhile, Volkov found out his men had failed and killed his general in anger. Jake and Drea reached an old building guarded by cannibalistic mutants called wraiths, prisoners who had turned into man-eaters. Inside, they found a destroyed vault and clues in French. Drea translated them and marked coordinates, but Jake doubted them and redecoded the real location, Centerhof Castle. Just then, wraiths attacked, but Jake set a grenade trap, killing them all. They escaped and called the rebels to meet at Centerhof. Volkov followed their trail and used UV light to find Drea's fingerprints on the map, confirming the same destination. At Centerhof, Jake and Drea sneaked inside the main building and realized the vault was still sealed, powered by solar panels. Drea went to disable the system while Jake climbed down through the ventilation shaft with a rope. The rope tore, but just as he fell, Drea shot the panels, shutting down the giant fan and saving him. Jake swam through a flooded passage, broke open the door, and finally entered the vault. Inside, he found the Mona Lisa, but it wasn't a painting at all. It was a nuclear bomb disguised as the Mona Lisa. Jake was shocked. Drea confessed she already knew. This bomb was made during World War II. The U.S. kept one for Russia. August doesn't want to use it, he just wants to keep it away from monsters like Volkov. Jake replied, "No warlord can be trusted, not Volkov, not August." Soon, rebels arrived to help, but Jake decided to leave. He wanted no part in this. Moments later, Volkov's forces attacked, killing everyone. Jake returned, saw the destruction, and decided to fight back. Together, they planted explosives along the tracks and blew up the castle. That evening, Volkov's train approached through the fog. Enraged, he killed his own conductor and drove faster. Jake jumped onto the train from a bridge, fought guards hand to hand. Threw grenades, and battled Volkov's right-hand man, Gornich. After a brutal fight, Jake killed him and faced Volkov himself. They fought fiercely. Jake stabbed Volkov's hand with a compass and stole the key. As the train neared the bridge, Drea detonated the bombs, destroying the bridge. Jake jumped off just in time as the train plunged into the valley and exploded. Drea thought he was dead, but Jake appeared behind her alive. They embraced in relief. Later in England, Jake gave August the key that could activate the bomb, saying, "The bomb lies at the bottom of the valley. Only this key can start it." He took his promised new boat and sailed away with Drea. The two had fallen in love and planned to explore the world together. In the end, August locked the key in his vault, and the real Mona Lisa was already hanging